What's up, everybody? You're listening to another exciting episode of the SignatureCAST, where we talk bodybuilding, business, and everything in between. Sitting to my right, not for the first time, but we're back, community leader, coach, father, and inspiration to every single one of us here at Signature Fitness, member Manj Singh. Thank you for coming back.
Man, I appreciate it.
You know, we're going to get this out the way right here. Unfortunately, we had some technical errors, some corrupted files. I'm going to take the L on that one.
Listen, we'll charge it like it was COVID.
That's it. It was COVID.
Came out of nowhere. We didn't know what to do.
Knocked us out.
Right.
But we're back. Manj, thank you so much for coming on today. I think the listeners and people watching at home are about to just be knocked back in their seats with some motivation, with some inspiration, and they're going to try to achieve a little bit more in their next upcoming months and years and all that type of stuff.
Man, you putting pressure on me. But
Ooh, boy.
Pressure bust pipes, don't bust mine.
How you feeling? How you feeling? What's new? What's going on?
Well, you know what? Every day I wake up is a blessing. That's the very first thing I can say. Every day I get up, and that's just on its own. Nowadays, we all should look at life like that. Like, you know, you get an opportunity to get up, come to the gym, just do your normal day life and not be stressed out about things. That's what it's about. Stress is something that we create, we bring on upon ourselves. We create our own stress. And I feel that, you know, we all wake up with goals, and sometimes we put them to the side, not realizing that they're just going to build into a mountain. And the only person that can push a mountain, I believe, is you, because I've been seeing you work out. No. Oh, he can lift anything. Trust me. I'm trying. Trust me. But honestly, like, I get my motivation off of people.
I love it. I mean, it really is true. You know, you feed off of every single person around you.
Yeah.
And that's why every single person I try to have on this podcast, you know, is positive in some way or another, either has an amazing story or is looking to push other people to a higher level, and, you know, whether it's in athletics or in life.
Right.
So, life, athletics, we got a coach here.
Right.
Football star, I just found out. We just watched a video that gave me goosebumps of him playing back in the day. It was absolutely awesome. But so for the listeners at home,
right.
How long have you been coaching football now?
This will be my 22nd season.
Wow.
So I did 16 years with the youth. Oh, actually 15, 16 years with the youth. And this will be 8 years in the Big North with North Jersey football. With Don Bosco Prep, I coached that, and I'm at St. Joe's currently right now. But I've been affiliated with the programs for about maybe 15 years.
Love it. How do you love it? I'm sure.
Love it. I mean, listen, listen. You know what? Listen, I'm going to just say it like that. To me, it's my ultimate high. It's my crack. It's everything for me. It's not illegal. It's legal. It's my motivation. I mean, when you just put something together and you watch a bunch of kids get together and you just see how they work and they put the work in and it comes to fruition, or when it fails and you have to come back and look at that. Think about that. You get to watch a film, or you get to see them at practice and make adjustments. Think about life. You don't get a film sometimes, but you have it in your mind to remember what you did wrong, how to correct it, and come back. So when you take football and you take sports and you look back and you say, hey, you know what? I did that wrong. You have to admit it. You have to admit that you're wrong and you did it wrong. Even as a coach, I stand corrected, but not on the spot. I have to think about it first before I do. Maybe see it on film. And I just feel like football, it's just like, I think it's anything with combat sports, or anything, even working out, lifting, like, it's a challenge. And it's like you come into a gym, like, for yourself, you know, I'm going to put you in this too. I'm not going to be all about me. So when you rack up the weights and you look at it and it's a number that you've never seen before, or it's something you always wanted, and you accomplish it, you're not done. You're not done. You're like, there's more, because there's more weights out there. There's more things to accomplish. And when you're just satisfied, like, you know, with that one little thing and you're happy with that's, you know, you're living comfortable. I like to see when you work out, because I watch your videos a lot, and when you're uncomfortable, it looks like you're uncomfortable, and you got to rev yourself up to get comfortable. And even then, when you put it up, you have that doubt in your mind, and all of a sudden you're pushing it and you're going. Listen, man, the last competition you had motivated the shit out of me. I'm serious. And I flipped it on him, right? You ain't gonna get it on me.
It's been a couple years since I've been on the platform, but I've now taken up arm wrestling. We just had the High Five Arm Wrestling Club on our podcast last week. So go listen to that if you're listening to this right now.
Oh, you're Stallone, huh?
Oh, you know, a little over the top, turning the hat around. Yes, I love that you gave me that reference. But back to what you just said, I mention this as much as I can on this podcast. More people need to challenge themselves, and push themselves outside of their comfort zone, because it makes you grow. I watched a video I would say a couple years back, and it was actually a rabbi, and he's talking about lobsters. So a lot of people don't know this about lobsters. Lobsters will only grow, right, to the size of their exterior shell. So what happens is they're growing, and then once the shell gets so tight and they're built up with so much pressure at the point where they just can't take it anymore, they shed their shell and they start the process all over again. And what that represents is when you're pushing, whether it's in football, whether it's in business, right, whether it's in bodybuilding, whatever it may be, and you feel like you're just up against this wall, and whatever you do, it's just harder and harder and harder. You are at the point that you cannot stop. Yeah. You need to keep pushing because you're going to shed that shell, and now a brand new chapter is going to open of possibilities, of heights that you probably didn't even knew you could reach or even imagine that you could reach.
Right.
So I love to bring that up, and in every single podcast, like I said, try something new and push yourself. Personally, I think also the physical aspect of it is a huge component. Like, we can all push ourselves mentally,
right,
but physically exerting some form of energy. That's why, here at Signature Fitness, we love, exercising, working out, and all that type of stuff. Pushing yourself to a limit. There ain't nothing better, whether it's on the field. Am I right? You get done with a hard practice even, and you're just like, man, that was freaking great.
So I'm going to give 3 things that are on top of my head right now. I speak from the heart and from the head, from the mind, the body, and soul. So the first thing that comes to my mind, I give credit where it's due. I'm going to give my man Warren, Signature Fitness. I'm going to tell you why I give him credit. I'll see him outside cleaning garbage. I see him picking things up. I see him say hello to all the members. I see him on a Stairmaster sweating up like literally a pool of water, where I think we should get a pool in here with all his sweat. And then I'll see him go behind the counter, ask if anybody needs help, and then continue to do business here. So I look at that motivation like, he's not his head in the sky. He's boots are on the ground. And I look at that and say, here's a man that can literally sit in the back office and just chill, but he's working towards more goals and making things better, making your lives all easier. And it includes everybody here as a family. So when I'm coming to Signature, I feel it's a family. So the second thing that's on my mind is 2 years ago, I became a realtor. And a lot of people laughed at me. I went through my Rolodex on my phone. Who wants to buy real estate with me? Who wants to do this with me, do that with me? And you know what the funniest thing was? That they didn't take me serious. So the first year COVID came, I didn't really do as much as I wanted. Second year, my wife told me basically, get off up your ass. You're going to make this license work for you, or you're going to sit there and think people are going to come to the door? And let me tell you something, 20 months it took me, not even. That 1 year, that 8 months, I was a bronze salesman. I won an award for being a bronze salesman, which is over $6 million in sales. I did about $8 million in sales, and I had over 15 transactions. All because, referrals, word of mouth. I wasn't really going out there, but people doubted me. But when people get to work with me, they're like, wow. So the thing that I always say is, and I learned through this, do you want experience? Somebody that had 40 years experience. Like, I could be like, you know what, Will, I'd rather work with this guy, work out with him because he's been doing it for 40 years. Or do you want an experience where I'll have an experience with you that will give me energy, something new, something here, something innovative that's going to be different? And for today, it's funny, we're in here. It's March 30th. It's my son's birthday.
Oh, happy birthday.
My firstborn.
I love it.
So I became a father at 20 years old with no handbook, no nothing, growing up without a dad. I grew up without a father. So there's no handbook. I had men in my life that were inspirations to me, coaches and stuff like that. And that's why I love, coaching football, because I felt like when my father left me when I was 2 years old, left me, my mother with 4 boys. And she had to figure out how to work it and get it done and never complain, never did anything but push. Like, my mom came from Uganda when Idi Amin took over the country with my father. And he went back, when I was 2 years old. So I never got to see the man say hello or anything like that. Like, I don't remember because I was only 2 years old. But I looked at that when I became a father myself. I said, I can't give up, can't quit. There's no book, there's no nothing. You just got to go out and do it. Instincts kick in. When instincts kick in life, it's no thinking. You just do it. You do what you think is right. You just go with it. So 24 years later, I have a son. I'm about to be a grandfather, coming up in May. So it's like, he's having this first baby girl. And I'm like, right now, looking back, 4 kids I have, my wife and everything, and looking at life and people that pointed and said I couldn't do it. Listen, I'm not mad at you. Because you know what? There's one point I didn't think I could do it, Will. There was one point I wanted to quit. There was one point I wanted to give up because that's the inside of me thinking, and that's me looking in the mirror and thinking about other people. Like I look in the mirror, you see yourself, but I'm thinking other people looking in the mirror with me, looking at me, pointing at me, saying I can't, and I'm believing that until I said, you know what, F this. I got one thing to do. Get my ass up, stand the hell up, and put my pants on, go out there and make things happen.
Get it done.
Get it done. There's no excuses, you know. I don't want to put nobody on the spot, but somebody inspired me in this gym. That's why I Signature Fitness 24 hours a day. And let me tell
24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 471 Cortlandt Street, Belleville, New Jersey. Boom, come on down.
There it is. So I come in the gym all different times of days and hours. And I was in here one day, and I'm sorry if I put something on the spot. You can edit this if this is like, do whatever. But I'm looking at this man rolling on a wheelchair from the back door coming into the gym.
I know his name is Duke. He's actually a good friend of mine. I've known him for years.
Let me tell you something. This man was on the bench. This man was doing ropes. He did everything plus some. He outworked me that day. He's in a wheelchair. He didn't complain. He didn't ask nobody for help. That is inspiration. That is telling you that I do not want to hear you can't come to the gym because your outfit doesn't look good, because you don't feel good, you don't look good. Everybody's watching him because he's in a wheelchair. You understand? I'm looking at him as an inspiration while others are watching. He's in a wheelchair, wanting to help him. But you want to know something? He didn't ask for help.
Manj, I'm going to cut you off.
Thank you.
Because this is how you know the stars are aligning and that we're doing the right thing. Duke, specifically, who we're talking about, I showed up to work yesterday, wasn't in a good mood. I came in the back door. He has to come through the back door because we have, it's an even surface. Who's parked there? Duke is parked there. So it's just crazy that you're bringing this up. Yeah. And we did not talk about this beforehand, ladies and gentlemen.
No.
Duke comes out of this car, and Duke is the same person, exactly what we're talking about right now. I'm like, what's up, Duke? How you been? Hey, everything's good. Everything's good. How's your family? Everything. I said, how is everything? And he goes, you know me. Everything's always good. Everything's always amazing. I woke up today and I said, how can you not start your day when you see something that inspirational? He's getting out of his car, putting his wheelchair together, and coming into the gym to better himself. And you know what? He has not a single thing to complain about. His answer was, and has been for the past 12 years that I've known him, I'm always good.
And I know something probably didn't ask you, can you grab this bag for me? He gets everything himself.
Come on.
So it comes to the point where in life we make excuses. I don't have enough money. I don't have this. I don't have that. Listen, it came to a point in my life right now, like we've been talking, you and I have been talking a lot of things, behind the scenes. And like I said, we just jump on this. We didn't nothing. There's no notes in front of us. And I've had to tell Will, I said, listen, I'm in the point of my life right now where I'm done chasing money. I want to be happy. I want to be loved by just my family and putting that time in with my family. And I found different things and avenues of life I like to do and I want to do that I'm going to do. And I'm putting things that took away time for me, even though they made money, put it to the side because you're never going to get time back. Nope. At the end of the day, when you're laying on that bed and it's over and your family's around you, the only thing you could think about, if you get that opportunity and to be lucky to have your family around you, the only thing you got to think about is, what time did I do? What memories did we spend? What memories we put in? And let me tell you something. Once again, my greatest memories are always with my family. My second best memories are always, I can always remember, is the gym. When I put up weight, when I'm stressed out, when I'm going through it, when life is hitting me like a ton of bricks, when I'm put my hoodie on and I'm crying underneath my hoodie working out because there's things going on emotionally. And then you got your gym family nodding their head at you or, giving you a fist bump or something like that. This is the thing of motivation. When I walk in, I see you, I see anybody in this gym talking and having a conversation. That's why I spend time in here. It's not to get away from my family, get away from anybody. It's to kind of get away from the shit that's going on out in this world. And it's kind of like, putting myself into two and say, you know what, I'm going to compete with myself in here today. Make myself better today and get whatever's bothering me off my chest in here so I could be fully exerted and go home.
100%. You couldn't have said it any better. What we do here, in these four walls truly is therapy, whether it's physical, mental, emotional. There's so many times. Last night I came here to work out. Didn't really feel it. I was pretty beat up. I competed on Sunday. And just being in the environment, not working, but just being here, talking to people. I honestly, I didn't do much of a workout, to be honest. But just, I moved my body around, moved some blood around, talked to some people. You never leave here feeling worse.
No.
I have never once, unless we got into some, interesting business meetings or anything like that. But in terms of walking out after working out, you never leave here not in a better mood ever.
Right.
So I want to dive in.
Yeah.
Right. We're throwing so much motivation their way. They need a second to digest it.
Okay.
So
remember, gloves are off. You can ask me anything you want.
oh my God. Oof.
I mean anything. Like,
So how
honestly,
much do you make in a fiscal year?
Well, I can tell you right now.
I'm kidding. No, I'm totally kidding. No, we are gonna make it personal, right? So
Yeah, please.
you did mention, and we got to talk about this the first time, and of course we lost that footage. So you just said, and it's a common occurrence all over this country, all over the world, right? Unfortunately, you grew up without a father.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that sculpted you differently than, even for example, my parents were divorced. So I saw my dad, but still wasn't that often. But it's still different when there's completely no, for a male, having that male role model there to guide you. So what do you think that did in terms of your life, your progression? Is that why you maybe gravitated towards the team sports with the football and all that stuff, or how did? I'm really curious because we said it on the last podcast.
Right.
One of my speeches I give is all about thinking things into fruition and see it, believe it, and achieve it. So everyone sees or experiences something when they're a child. So I'm sure that. Even though you're only 2 and you don't remember it, I'm sure it must have been traumatizing for you in some way. So how did that develop you to, the man and the father and the coach that you are today? Loaded question if you didn't.
No, I like it. I like it. As long as listen, I got time. I got nothing but time. So the very first thing is, growing up, I didn't know, being 2 years old, I didn't realize and know. I thought this was normal. So treat me like a puppy that gets left with just the mother or the father, and the rest of them are gone. You don't see them no more. So I see my brothers and everything like that, and then my mom, and then I'll hear my brothers make a comment about my father, and I'm just looking at them like, what are you talking about? Like,
I don't mean to cut you off. Are you the youngest?
I'm the youngest. I'm the baby.
Same. Okay.
Yeah. So I'm looking at them. I'm like, what are they talking about? I have no idea. And then, my mother would make it like a joke, kind of, not a joke, a bad joke. Like, they'll say, can we have this? Or your father sending a check next week or something like that. So it'll be a household joke, but I never really understood. I was like, whatever. Until I was in school and we had to make Father's Day cards. That's when it hit me. And that's where I was like, oh, shoot. And the teacher came, put her arm around me and said, I understand. Make it for your uncle or somebody else. I said, no, I'll make it for my mom. My mom is my dad. My mom has raised me, my mom. I can't fathom it. Then the kids started making fun of me. You don't have a dad. You don't have a dad. Aha, he left you to this and the other. And it affected me. Oh, man. I mean, I didn't have to go to therapy and anything like that, but it affected me. And years went on and everything like that. So when I became a young father at, the age of 20, it was no mistake. It was 19, actually. And it was no mistake. Like, no, honestly, like, I wanted to that was one of the it's not the right thing to do. I'm not telling everybody to do it, but that was one of the things, my motivation in life was, I want a kid. I want to show and be there, because when I was 16 years old, my mother went back to Africa, because what happened was my mother came here from Africa with my father, and my father went back to Africa. And when he left us, he went to Africa. So I didn't see him. It wasn't like he went down the street, the next neighborhood, the next town, the next state. No. He went back to Africa. So my mother went back to Africa. She happened to run into him, and she had him call us. Now, this is a man I never heard, never talked. Just heard I look like him. I sound like him. I move like him. Calls me and tells me that he loves me. And my very first, and I'm 16 years old. This 14 years later, I lost it. Cussed him out, the whole nine. And, was the right thing to do? Probably not. And I was just like, you know what? The hell with you and everything. And that became my motivation. Like, I'm going to be a better father than you ever will be. So, yes, I had my son early, you know what I'm saying? But it wasn't, like I said, the wrong thing. And then pushed with him. And then my brother called me up one day and said, do you want to coach this football? You love football. Do you want to coach? I was like, nah, not really. Then I got out there and I realized there's a lot of kids out there like me that were raised like me without a father for multiple reasons. And then I became like not just a coach. And I think my coaching is more powerful because it's not about wins and losses. It's about giving life lessons, about stop complaining. I've been in your shoes, but I can't. Your shoes, you might be different. Like what I went through might be different for another kid. Because if you imagine my older brothers, he left when we're 2, 4, 6, and 8. So we're all 2 years apart. 8, 6, and 4. that's different. They know him. So I have kids that have to deal with. So I kind of talk to these kids, even kids with mother and father together, and they're having issues in a relationship, or divorce happens in the family. I become that coach that has to, be there for them, a mentor. I have to become a father for some of them. I have to become a mentor for some of them. And it's not a bad thing. It's actually a good thing. And you did well when they call you pop when they leave, or they call you unc when they leave. And they keep calling you, and you get invited to baby showers. That's how long I've been doing it. Baby showers and weddings and things like that. It's just something different. And I think the wins come when you give life lessons. The wins come when you bring them together. The wins come when you take what my mother gave me and distilled in me, to never be ashamed, to keep my head up high no matter what the situation is, no matter how bad it can get, no matter how much they point their fingers at. They still point their fingers because they're pointing because they want to be you. That's how I had to take it in my mental. And then it just revved me up to say, I will never leave no kid behind. No kid. There doesn't have to be a football player. Nobody gets left behind on my watch. It's even deeper with me and my wife. My wife was adopted. My wife is Colombian, adopted by Irish family, who I grew up with her in 8th grade. I knew her since 8th grade. Her brother's even younger. And, it's been something interesting with that, because, she has the same thing dealing with, the abandonment issues. It's becoming the abandonment issues. So it's hard for me to, say, for instance, if you got up and walked down and left me, said, F this, I'm out, and maybe like that, it'll affect me. It will. But I have to get over it. I know how to get over it because I've dealt with it. I know how to get over it, but it'll affect me because I felt like, what did I do wrong to help? What's going on with you that you left me? Because I'm not saying I'm perfect, but what did I do? What could I have done to make it better for you? What can the experience you give? So when you coach with me, back to the experience thing, and when I coach with you and I coach your kid, it's going to be an experience, because I throw life's best experience at you about being alone, not being there. So being a coach, I feel responsible as a father, as a dad, no matter if I'm the varsity defensive line coach at St. Joe's, or I'm the Pee Wee coach down at the Montclair Cobras or Bloomfield Bengals. It doesn't matter where I'm at. I feel like I'm responsible for the whole team, and not taking nothing from a head coach. I just feel like I'm responsible, and these kids all come to me. It's a lot of them. I mean, you would be amazed.
I've had figures just as yourself in my life, especially, like I said, having, grown up with a divorced family. With two parents, they just, went their separate ways, and I was raised by my mom. And, I love my dad. I still, I see him all the time and, talk to him and everything, but he never really was the father figure for me that, I was, I guess, yearning for. Mm-hmm. But what you said a second ago is really, it's kind of hitting me hard. Is it's not about being with someone with experience. It's someone who's going to give you an experience, and who's going to mold you and kind of show you the way. And I think, any young child, whether you're a man or a woman, you're going to look for that figure. For me, it was, sports, like, idols that I would look up to, whether it was like these strongman guys, and everything like that. And then it was, there were people like teachers in my school, like one who's a very good close friend of mine, Huggins. I consider him almost like a second dad. He might not even know that, if he listens, there you go, now.
Yeah, absolutely.
But he was the president of the car club. He was like ran it as the teacher. So, and I became the president of it. And, he was always, at the car shows. That's how I met Duke. So small world, right?
Oh, wow.
These people, even though they don't realize it, that you are affecting people in such a positive way. Even if it's something, like you're on the field, mm-hmm. I even have, thankfully I've gotten to the point where now, I have employees working for me, and even when they come in and I see something's wrong, I'm like, what's going on? Look, we can put the work aside for a minute. It's okay. And just by having that and creating this experience, you can affect someone in such a positive way, change their day, change their week, change their life. And it sounds, foolish to some people. How you doing? Everything all right? You can change someone's life completely.
Just 30 seconds ago, you went like this, is everything okay? Even though we're just talking about stuff, by doing that, it touched me. And I'm being honest. It made me feel good because you know what? You want to feel the compassion and empathy.
I touched him.
He touched me. But you know, it's just that thing. Like we lose that as humans, that we just want to be robots and just want to just keep going. No, you sometimes got to stop the plan, go back, and you if with football, the thing is you got a whole team. So if we're doing a drill and there's one person behind, I don't start the drill over because that person ruined it or didn't push himself. I started over because we're going to do it as a team. And I want the team to push that person with me. And at the end of practice, we got that one thing done. Even if you got one thing done the whole day, that's all we got done, but it got accomplished, guess what? That's a medal. And the one thing that I have an issue with, you know, as a person, and it usually happens at the end of the football season, I hate the awards dinners and stuff like that because it's not the award part. It's when parents and players come up to me and want to thank me. I don't like that because I don't do it for thanks. I don't do it because of a notoriety. I do it because it's in my heart. And I don't do nothing just to do things. I don't do, like even with real estate, you do it for the money. I don't do it for the money. What I do it for is I'm able to put somebody in a house or in a nice place to rest their head or help them get rid of their burden of selling their home. It's not about the money. It's really not. I swear to goodness, everything I do is from my heart. And I think that we all have to learn that you know, I'd rather give you something than get something.
100%.
You know, and then it puts pressure on your own life, and when you put pressure on something, it makes the best diamond.
Oh, 100. Ooh, okay. Okay. Lots of pressure. Well, just like we talked about before, right? You're going to have to be under immense pressure to grow.
Yeah.
Right? That's what it's all about.
Yep.
It's very interesting that you said that, you know, that you don't like the thank you.
No.
Even though you don't like the thank you, do you at least appreciate the fact that they will say thank you? You know,
well, I'll tell you. So I get cards. That's coached my daughter's basketball team, 5th grade girls. It's fun. And I get cards. And throughout my years of football, I get cards. I get thank yous and stuff like that. You know, and I'll be honest with you. I'll be straight up with you. So I coach with sunglasses and a hat, night, winter, snow. It doesn't matter what it is. Because there's a coach that touched me in my life. His name was Homer Robinson, rest his soul. And Coach Rob was somebody that, you know, everything was SOP, standard operating procedures, this, that, and the other, blah, blah, blah. And he impacted me to the point where I used to be underneath that helmet and I'd be tearing up every time he spoke to me, give me chills. He made me believe in the whole thing I do and believe into the team. Like Montclair is where we're from. Everything was Montclair. Everything up and down was Montclair. You believed it, you bled it, you did it, and it distilled into you and it wanted to make you better. Whether you're a practice player or you were a star, you believed in winning as a team. So my thanks was always crying into the helmet. So I wore the sunglasses at first to pay homage to him all the time. But what it is, I do pay homage to him, and I do it. But to be honest with you, Will, I'm crying underneath those glasses half the game. When I'm seeing a kid make a tackle or make a big run or do something I asked them to do and they're doing it. Or when we're losing and I'm watching my team getting pounded out and getting beat up and I'm hurting because I love these players and I'm just sitting there and it hurts to the point. Or we're winning a big game. And then at the end of the season, when they say thank yous and all that, I hold it all in. When I get in my truck, I light my cigar, and believe it or not, I'm crying the whole way home. I'm crying, and my wife was like, "You okay?" And I can't hold it because you know what it is. Thank you, Dad, because he this is what happened. Life happens for a reason. Things happen and come to your world, and things happen. Just how do you bounce back from a failure or something, a disappointment? How do you bounce back from it? Do you tuck your tail and run, or do you run with it? You know, you got to stick on that wave. The wave goes high, stay on there. And one thing we always mention, and I always say it, is win the week. If you win 4 days out of the 7, you did great 4 days, you won the week. Let me tell you, everybody out here. So today, we'll start. You can start today, start Monday or Sunday, rather, because the week starts on Sunday. Write down every day you did something great, accomplish something, whatever, every day. See if you win the week. And then add that up through the year. How many weeks did you win in the year? Now I'll tell you if you won or lost. That's pressure. So if I don't change somebody's life, like today is a win because sitting here with you is a win for me. So I already got my win in. I went and worked out a little bit. That's a win for me. So today has been a win for me already. If I stayed home on the couch, did nothing, watched TV, got nothing accomplished, that is a loss. Because Duke wouldn't sit on the couch. Nope. Duke wouldn't do none of that shit. Duke gets his ass in the gym when his wheelchair and gets here. And then, you know what? Like I said, I motivate off other people's energy and what other people do. And my wife, like, she's the one that pushes me. Probably the greatest, besides my mother, one of the greatest people I've ever been in my life because I watch how she raises our sons and my daughter and takes care of me. Like I went through a point of life where I almost was dead twice, in the last couple of years. I'm not ashamed to admit it, So the first one was I got diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. Didn't know it. Went to the doctor. She forced me to the doctor's office and went there. My A1C was a 14. Blood sugar was a 580 something, which is damn near death. And my A1C was at a 14 point something. I had no idea. And she pushed me because I wasn't looking good. Now, if she didn't care about me and love me enough, she wouldn't have pushed me. Then I got, of course I'm good. Now I'm like damn near pre-diabetic. I'm all good because being back in the gym.
Oh yeah.
And the second one was COVID. I got hit with it, and I was in the hospital and everything like that. And those 2 times I almost lost my life. And I was just like, every day I get a chance to come out here to be up and be awake and be alive. Like those are little things to me. Those are little hurdles. The diabetes and the COVID. A lot of people pass away and COVID's not nothing light, but there's people going through worse. That damn cancer and everything like that. And what's the worst fear for me was just like, okay, amputation of something if that had to go down. But I said, people have it worse. What are you complaining about? Stop complaining. You're still able to do things.
What did we just say? Duke showed up and he said, I'm always good.
Always good.
He's always good.
And you know what? And honestly, that's the attitude you have when you wake up in the morning. Like self-motivation. I know sometimes you got to pick up a book. You got to hear something, get you going, get you revved up. Pre-game speech. I drop a pre-game speech in a heartbeat. I love doing that. Love getting guys fired up. But if you don't have it inside you to go accomplish it and put it out there, it ain't never going to happen.
It's so true. I've said this so many times on the podcast. No one can motivate you, but they can inspire you to motivate yourself.
Ooh.
Right? Remember that one. No one can motivate you, but they can inspire you to motivate yourself. People forget that all the time. They're like, oh, I got so motivated. I watched the video. No. You watched that video, it inspired you to build that fire within and to motivate yourself to get through that workout, to get through that routine, to do that practice, whatever it may be. I really, ladies and gentlemen, if you're watching at home, if you're looking into my eyes right here, please do something to challenge yourself mentally, physically, emotionally. And like my good friend Manj just said, write it down. Look at those wins throughout the day, throughout the week. I'm gonna walk away from this. I'll be honest with you. I'm gonna walk away from this podcast. We got a meeting after this. I'm gonna be jacked up, revved up in this meeting. I have so many quotes to do, but honestly, and just to speak from the heart, I'm a little disappointed in myself because I used to do that, and I think we all go through cycles and everything. But you ever have one of those days? And for anybody listening at home, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You start off your day, you come into work, or even if it's a weekend, and you say, let's just, for example, so people can relate, let's say it's a weekend. All right, it's a Saturday morning. I got to do my laundry. I got to make breakfast. I got to take the dog out. I got to go to the gym. I got to run to the store. I got to do my grocery shopping for next week, right? Then now it's the weekend, right? Even though we're working out, we want to relax. So I'm going to relax with the girl a little bit, right? But I still got to send some emails, right? Maybe look for an apartment, right? I'm in that mode right now.
Yeah.
And you get up and you do every single thing on your list. And it's one of those days where, then all of a sudden it's, I need you to help me move out of this house, blah, 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 thing blindsides you. And you don't get home till like 9, 10 o'clock at night. But you know what? You feel so much better. You might be exhausted to the point where you just you hit that bed and you just want to just knock out. And usually you do. But you know what? You sleep real good that night because you know that you went through you did the laundry, you made the food, you were with your girl, you did every single thing you had to do. And even though you're beat to all hell, you feel good about it, don't you?
You know what? The one thing I love doing, my wife and kids think I'm crazy. My daughter started seeing it. So what I do is I have Post-its. I don't use the phone to put my notes in the way I got to do. Post-its. I love crossing it off. When you cross it off, you're like, you're gone, you're out of here, or put a check mark, I did it. It makes you feel good. Try it. Go back to the old school. Cross it off your list. It feels good. It's like you come here with a workout plan and you wrote down everything and you're done with that one. I'm done with it. I'm done. You feel good because you see your accomplishments. And that's just the one thing. People were visual. You want to see your accomplishments. You want to see it.
Oh, yeah, 100%. And having that written down on that piece of paper, what I do is, and which I have to get back to doing is, a good friend of mine once said, carry a little black book, one of those little mole notebooks, and just write down your tasks for the day.
Yep.
And when you cross off all those tasks, you feel good. You can even, I can go to Warren and be like, Warren, see?
Yeah.
I got all these done today. You know, but you feel good about it.
Right.
And to physically see it in front of you, it's definitely a great tip for everybody. It's, people can take that and you can expand on it. You have, like we said, we're trying to accomplish and win the day.
Right.
Then you can write your tasks for the week. Then you write your tasks for the month. And now we're talking about kind of like a vision board type idea. Yeah. And to pull it back into fitness, whether it's getting ready for that competition, you have 12 weeks, 16, whatever it may be, or, state championships in football. We got this many games. And if we do this thing today, did you eat your breakfast today? You're talking to one of your athletes, right? Did you show up on practice on time? Did you make sure that one kid, that maybe he's a little overweight or just didn't, maybe he didn't do his workouts throughout the summer? Maybe are you making sure that he, catches up?
Yeah.
You're not leaving anybody behind.
That's the thing of a team. As I always say, as a head coach or as a coach in general, coaches don't, believe it or not, they don't get the wins and losses. That's the players. A coach's job is to get you to the next level. So if you're in Little League, it's to push you to be better in high school. When you get to high school, the job is to get you into college and continue to play. And looking at their grades. Their grades, see, this is one thing with young athletes, young student athletes, if you probably watch, or young people in general, your grades is your bank account. Don't go bring your parents, you got straight A's and look for money. No. You're supposed to do that, okay? You're supposed to get good grades. So your grades is it's like your credit score, which is very, very important. Your grades are your credit score, and it's going to dictate where you're going to go for college, where you're going to go in life, what you're going to get, what you're going to receive. And they don't teach that in schools with life. I teach it on the football field. If you don't have the grades, I can't get you into Rutgers. I can't get you into, this school, that school. I can't get you there because you don't have the grades. You have the height, you have the weight, you have everything, but you didn't do your part. I can't coach that. I can't coach size because you got to put the work in on that. I cannot coach, speed. You have to put the work in on that. I can get you endurance. I can get you motivated, get you to know the game. And I can't coach your grades. You have to do that. And that's where responsibilities come into the parents. And, they have to understand that they are responsible for those little parts. Now, for instance, I have a lineman. He's not the strongest. He doesn't have the explosion. So I can't coach it on the field. So I give him a referral. I would refer them to you because you know how to power lift and put them in that room to drive them, to learn how to get all that. 100%, I'm telling you, I will send them to you because I know what is needed for them to get powerful, especially a lineman, how to get powerful, how to get to drive, how to get. Then if you want all the extra hand movements and stuff like that, yeah, you might not know that. You send them to somebody else, but it costs money to build something that's worth it. Like this gym, I remember when it was half the gym, and now look at it. Best gym in New Jersey, probably in the East Coast. I'm telling you.
Think of it this way. It doesn't just cost money. It all comes down to, you said it the first 5 minutes of this podcast. What do we have in life? All we have is one thing, and it's time.
Yeah.
So whether, like you said, you're that student, your money is your grades, right? When you're older, your money is your time.
Yeah.
Because when you're young, you got your whole life ahead of you. Mm-hmm. But all of that, and you're so right. We've made some amazing improvements here. So coming down to the gym, Signature Fitness, Belleville, New Jersey, 471 Cortlandt Street. We'll see you there. I'm
a 19-year member, I think.
You see how quickly I roll that off the tongue?
I love it.
But no, in all seriousness, all you have is time, and it's just the most valuable, most precious thing we have. So do not waste it. I find myself, Manj, on the weekends, unless... because there is value in relaxation and recharging and just spending quality. Even if it's, people might say that watching a movie with your family is not quality time. I think it is. As long as you're doing it together and you're in one of these experiences like we've been talking about, it's worth it. But I find myself sometimes, I'm sitting there, especially nowadays with these damn phones. We get scrolling and we're stuck in a hole. That's what me and my girlfriend joke about all the time. Like, I'm in a holy hole. I'm in a hole. I'm stuck in the Instagram hole. And
dangerous.
And
it's very
dangerous. And I put the phone down and I just I get up. So my number one thing, and she's gonna hate me for this, but I used to be the sleep-in person. Get up 11, 12, blah 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 blah. I have a lot of sleeping problems. Thankfully, I have a CPAP now, and all these things, allow me to sleep a little bit better.
Right.
So I tell you, it's like whether it's the weekday or the weekend, it's like 7:30, 8 o'clock, because I come to work around 9. Saturday morning, 8 o'clock, I'm up and I'm like, breakfast, let's go outside, let's do something. I'm tired. Like, no. Tired is for nighttime when it's dark out and we can do whatever you want to do. We can watch a movie, you can play your video games, whatever you want. It's time to go experience the day, ladies and gentlemen.
You know what?
Get up.
I always say,
get out there.
Nas said it best on one of his albums when he said, sleep is the cousin to death.
Ooh. That, you know what? That's going to go on the board for the meme today. Sleep is the cousin of death.
And I look at that and I say, okay, that's it. I mean, you look at like all these different things. Like I was doing something at one point, which was season 1. People like, you stopped doing your minute with Manj. So I finished season 1 with probably the most heartfelt one I've ever done, where somebody that works out here, she hit me up and we did our own Instagram live podcast type situation a couple weeks ago, because it talked about me when I had suicidal thoughts. We've all been there. No, not all. We all haven't. A lot of people.
It does happen though.
Yeah,
it's very common.
And April coming into April is stress month. Okay, it's wellness is stress month. And at my job, I'm a wellness coach and everything like that. I'm actually a wellness rep for the state, and it's just like I was going through a bad time. And then I realized when this is what happened during the time of it, I felt I was a failure and I failed a lot. But what I really realized was that the people I failed were there on my corner, loved me. I was thinking about friends and people that I was trying to impress, pointing fingers and looking at me. And that's where I said, you lost because you're trying to entertain and make everybody else happy. The one thing you got to know in life, if you can't love yourself, you can't love nobody. And my mother told me that, and I took that and ran with it, and I got the monkey off my back. And guess what? If I went through that, and literally it was real bad, because I was out in Las Vegas by myself, and I know my family knew I was out there, but they didn't know what I was out there for. Packed one bag, in a small bag, not to come home. So that's where my mindset was. And I went in front of my church congregation and I gave a testimony about that. And it literally felt so good. And they were like, I wish you would have did that 2 weeks earlier. You would have saved maybe 2 people, because, it happens. And that's why when you come to the gym, I swear to you, everything comes out. I cry underneath my hoodie sometimes. I put my hood up because I'm crying. It's not crying because I'm why me? No, you're getting emotion out. You're feeling something. You got to have a feeling in this life. Like when you wake up and have a purpose, like what is my purpose? Have you ever asked yourself, what is your purpose? Have you ever asked yourself, like, what is 100%. My purpose? Yeah.
Honestly, that's what my entire past 6 months have been, is like, what am I doing here? What's my purpose? How am I making someone's life better? And I go back to that checklist and knock those things down.
Right.
And you know what? At the end of the fucking day, I got something done. I got something done, and someone was better for it.
Yes.
I told this story the other day. One of the greatest things I've ever done was, we've talked about this a bunch. I was involved in music for years, right? I know you said you don't like the thank yous, right? I think you get them a lot more than I do, because you're very inspirational and very.
Here he goes. I'm about to leave the mic. I'm about to drop the headphones.
You affect a lot more people, but and I just mean that in the sense that you have a great opportunity because of all the sports that you coach and all that stuff. But I'll never forget. I was at the University of Massachusetts. I'm the drum major of the marching band. Teaching everybody how to walk in line and create these forms and be part of this amazing organization. Shout out to UMass. And I'm a senior, the season's just about done. And, it was one of the best experiences I've ever had in my life, because you get to affect, just like you said, you get to affect someone every day. But you don't realize the small things that you do. Like I said, your congregation asked you 2 weeks ago if you had said that you might have saved somebody's life. And it's okay. Don't take that personally.
No, I don't.
Because it's your journey and you needed to do what you had to do.
Right.
But little things make such a big difference. We said that earlier in this podcast. I'm going to say it again right now. We had a girl come in. I'm so sorry. I can't remember her name. I think it might have been Ashley or something, but she wanted to be on the drum line so bad. And it was such a competitive drum line. We had the best in the United States. The director was in the Hall of Fame, all this stuff. But the one thing we always said was, and I was taught this by George Parks, God rest his soul. He was, marching band is a place for everyone. Just like Signature Fitness is a place for everyone. Just like the weights can give something to everybody. And he said, a marching band is a place for everybody. So I took her under my way. I said, you know what? Don't worry. We're going to find a place for you. And I walked her over to the trumpet section. She had never even touched a brass instrument before. No clue. She had no idea what she's doing. Watching, hey, how's it going? Blah, 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 blah. And that was it. That was all I did, was walk her over. I'm gonna get emotional talking about this.
Go ahead.
We're sitting eating lunch, and I'm there with my girlfriend at the time, ex-girlfriend, and she walks over, and she just says, "Will, I just wanted to tell you, if it wasn't for you, my entire college experience would have been horrible." She goes, "You were the only one to take me under your wing and to walk me over, and I just wanted to thank you."
Got me crying almost.
I know. I'm tearing up right now, but we're just emotional teddy bears. That's all it is.
Yeah,
we're tough teddy bears. But she said, if it wasn't for you just taking that time to walk over and just, introduce me to this horn line they call the hog line, right? I have a family now. And I love them and they love me and I just wanted to thank you so much. And she goes, "You'll forever be my drum major." I'm sorry. But it was like, and I was like,
that's from the heart.
Yeah, like, win. Like, I did it.
And if I was there, the minute he did that, I'd be like, get your ass on the D line, let's go. Put the tuba down, let's go.
Maybe they would have won. But it was like, I had worked so long for so many years, because it took me in my super senior year, they call it, when you do like that extra year or semester.
Yeah.
And it took me till then to get to be the drum major, which it's a big deal there. And, all 4 years, those 4 years of, college and getting my degree and all that stuff, I know this sounds horrible, but all of it, the classes, it was all worth it for that one singular, that was my hands down best moment in my college experience. The hands down best moment. It wasn't me being, walking down, in the Macy's Day Parade. It wasn't, getting an A in my kinesiology class, getting my degree, walking for graduation, the diploma. None of that matters. None of that matters. And it's crazy. I'm kind of almost having a coming to light like experience here, but it's true. The paper doesn't matter. But that one person said, "You made me feel special and you made me feel part of a family." So that's why I'm jealous that you get to do this with kids every season.
I'm gonna get deep. Here we go.
I'm gonna go get some Kleenex.
Yeah, this one right here. Beyond coaching, this is one of the moments that in my life that every time it happens, which happened 4 times, I get emotional. I literally went to the bathroom and bawled out. Each one of my kids got to call me daddy. I never got to say the word dad a day in my life.
Yeah.
So when each one of my kids got to call me dad,
probably the best feeling, right?
Yeah, I'll never forget it. And until this day, just to be called dad, it's it's beyond. And then when you got kids that call me pop that I coached or unk, and they said you inspired me, that's the win. Them going to college, them taking my job, them doing something for me. If you took it, it's because I coached you to it. I want you to take it. I want you to be better than me. I go out there and I want people to beat me in everything I do. I don't want to be on top. I don't even know what the top is. I have no idea.
There is no such thing as the top.
There isn't. And the thing is, like, when you take the small things, like that's something so light and so touching. But when I hear the word dad, my ears go up like a dog. And I'm ready to do whatever and obey. Like my kids, honestly, they don't even really realize it. They kind of control me because when they call me dad, yeah, they do. But the thing is, like, of course, they know I'm hard nosed, I'm hard, I'm tough love and everything. But when they say dad, they got my attention right away. Like you're not gonna my attention's never gonna go anywhere else. And then when I hear coach, you got my attention right away. And it's just like, so I think I take the two and I put them together. So just imagine this. No knock on any of these towns or cities I'm going to bring up. It's just an analogy. You got a kid from Newark, New Jersey, right? Or Camden or whatever. A
rougher place.
A rougher place. And then you got a kid from Alpine or somewhere a richer place. And they come to a football team. They never played with each other. They don't know each other. You got to bring that together as a team of coaches, as a team of players, to where the third week they're going to each other's houses, one's getting dropped off, one's staying the night, and they become friends and great friends and go beyond That is the win. That's why I think I was so intrigued with being at the private schools, Don Bosco, and being at St. Joe's currently. And it's something like that. When you can go, and I can adjust from being from Montclair, I can adjust to anything because we never saw race, color, or creed. I don't know what race is. I don't know what color is. I don't care about it. Your gender. I don't care about all that stuff. All I care about is that we're helping each other one-on-one, two-on-two as a team, building to get better. And I know I keep talking. I know not because I'm hearing this cliche, but when I come to Signature, I see a team and a family working together. Like Matthias, man, that's the hardest working guy.
My boy Matthias.
That's the hardest working man I ever seen in my life. Like he always smiles. Matthias smiles so much that he inspires me every day. That it's okay. It's okay. Shut up. Go hit the weights. It's okay. Keep working out. And literally, like, I see Warren, like I said, smiling, and he's always into it. Even when things are bad, he still wants to help people out. Yourself, like every time you come out the back room, you're here or whatever. Even the worst day of your life, when you saw what you guys built go to waste almost, I was here the next day, and you just looked at me, and you were here till 2 a.m. or something like that.
Yeah.
And I saw it crushed you. But you said the one thing that I love to hear, we're going to build it, but build it better and be better and back at it. And you know what? It was less time than you said it was going to be.
Oh yeah, we brought it back quick, less than a week.
Because when you want something, you don't wait.
Go get it.
Get your ass up and go get it done.
That's it. I'm gonna put a challenge out because I want more people. And this is something we mentioned the last time we got together. Is imagine if the world, if everyone could go through a little bit of this struggle and feel what we're explaining. If you're listening, I implore you to go and watch this YouTube and see our faces when we're talking about these things and how important and how much they clearly have affected us. And I want that for every single one of you at home listening and watching. I want you to truly feel the joy of knowing that you have positively affected someone's life. Even if you just do it once, it will do something amazing. So for every member at Signature Fitness, go out there, go into your community, get on the floor. If you see somebody needs help, if you see someone, at home, whatever it is, I challenge every single Signature Fitness member to do something with expecting nothing in return. Right. And just because you know it's the right thing, I guarantee you somewhere, whether it's now, a month, 5, 10, 20 years from now, it's going to come back around and you're going to thank us.
Oh, yeah.
They're going to. It's so true. It's the hands down best feeling in the world. No question. Other than I'm sure, other than having a child and everything like that, but what? It's up there. I'm sure.
Because even having a child, like honestly, that's you're giving something. You're giving back. You're putting something into. Think about this. You're bringing a child into the world not to mess the world up, to help the world. That's what your goal is to do. When you come out every day, you don't. Listen, some people do, but I don't wake up saying, "Hey, how I'm gonna fuck up somebody's day. I'm gonna fuck up Will's day. I'm gonna mess up Will's day today. How I'm gonna make his day miserable." You know what? You wake up saying, "How can I help somebody today?" Doesn't have to be for fiduciary reasons, for money reasons, for monetary reasons, monetary reasons, because you gotta be a fiduciary person, but monetary reasons, you don't have to do it always for look at your hands out. I think the problem is we get locked in with money and value of things. The only number that I care about, believe it or not, is the scale and the weight I put up. Those are the only numbers I really watch out for. I mean, I do watch the bank account, make sure everything's okay and things like that. But when it comes down to certain numbers, like you look in this gym and the numbers, like how many minutes you put on this treadmill, how many minutes you put on this, you look at those numbers and challenge yourself with that because that's something you have total control over.
Complete.
You don't have no control over your bank account because you might owe somebody, owe something, or something pops up, God forbid, blah, blah, blah. You don't control it. But one thing you have control over is your time, as we said before, and your time you put here in the gym. And this is the thing. I have a daughter right now. She's 12 years old, and she'll be a member here soon. But all of my kids, members here. My wife, member here. My brother, member here. And that's the thing. They believe in it. They go to classes. You got free classes in daycare. There's no excuse.
What it is, and we're not. It's not that we're not trying to sound like a sales pitch for anybody listening. It's just, it's true. We're a different community, and we have our challenges. And for everybody listening, you better start racking your weights because I'm going to send Manj to come get you, and he's going to put his glasses on and he's going to drill sergeant you until you put them away.
Sunglasses.
We're a different community here, where I like to say that we're one of the most driven athletic and really goal-oriented places I've ever been to. We have people like Sean Clarita, Mr. Olympia, Keem Williams. We have female athletes. We have moms. We have dads. We have people in their, from 15 all the way to 75, 80 years old. And you know what? They're crushing it.
Yeah.
Every time they come in here, nobody comes in here and mails it home. I'm telling you, nobody mails it home at Signature. Everyone comes here for a reason. Whether it's vain or not, they're still not mailing it home.
You know what? And there's always something in some people that inspire you to go push and do different things. And like with me coaching football, probably one of the greatest coaches I've been around besides the ones that coached me is Coach Dan Morangi at St. Joe's. We met him before over here. Yes. We lost everything, but
Dan, I'm sorry.
Yeah, sorry, Coach Morangi.
Very sorry.
But I've watched him for years, 15 years or so, and just seen everything he's done and accomplished and how humble the man is. And it makes it about the team and the players, never about him. He's never, that guy that does that. And that's where it added to my repertoire as a coach and how to lead and how to be. But I can't stop being the energy I am. I'm loud. People get it mistaken thinking I'm the head coach sometimes because I'm going crazy. I'm blacking out. It's so funny that he'll tell me sometimes, he'll be like, Coach, what's the matter? I'm like, can I go talk to the team real quick? I know you can do the pregame, but I go talk to them real quick. He'll go ahead. And I'll fire these guys up, get them ramped up and ready to go. And then he gets in there and adds to it, gets them fired up, ready to go. And, man, we go out there and kick some tails. So August 29th, I believe we're down in Maryland playing Good Counsel.
Okay.
So that's where that is and everything like that. So, and then the big question always comes to me, will you ever leave St. Joe's? I always say no, unless a proper opportunity comes my way.
Comes along. I hear you. They ask the same thing like, well, you're like the face of Signature. You ever? I'm like, look, what it comes down to is if we mentioned it earlier, and of course, you always have to, make sure that things are right for you. But the number one thing is, can I affect people? Can I make their day better? And, thankfully, every day I walk in here, I get to shake people's hands. I get to, say hi to people, be like the mayor of Signature or whatever you want to call it. And it's a wonderful opportunity. And it's a wonderful place to be. You hear stories. We're sharing one right now. And, you can have those positive little micro influences every single day. And that's what, honestly, there's nothing more important than that for me here. I mean, I have my responsibilities, but that's what keeps me coming is it's a family.
Yeah.
And I get to say hi to people every day, and I hope that I make their day better. Like you just mentioned earlier, you knew we went through some trouble next door in the strength conditioning center. Mm-hmm. And, I was so happy. Like, first person I see, of course, the next day is this beautiful bearded man right here. And I was just like, oh, my man, Manj, what's up? Yeah, we talked about it and made me feel better. And that's what it's all about.
Oh, by the way, just in case anybody wants to know this beard, because people do ask me about the beard out there and who does it, Instagram, at JT Wentworth. Check him out.
That is a
3D Barbershop Montclair.
Phenomenal beard. I'm not gonna lie. We've had some good beards
Shout
on this.
Shout out to JT Wentworth.
Mine used to, in those old footage, I used to have a killer beard.
His beard. Listen, I would make sure I paid for that beard to go up there because that beard was amazing. I was jealous.
It'll come back next winter.
I was jealous.
It'll come back.
I was offended.
Manj, this goes without saying. I really appreciate this. Unfortunately, we lost the first footage, but I think we took what we had and we just blew it out the water with today's conversation here.
This is natural.
This is natural. We were crying, we were laughing, we were smiling.
Yeah.
I think they're gonna. You can't beat that. They just need to sit back with a box of popcorn and be all set and good to go.
You know what? And I'm wearing the right hoodie, the Mike Tyson hoodie.
Ooh boy,
that's what this interview was like. Like Mike, a roller coaster.
Roller coaster, 100%. Manj, thank you so much for coming on today. Normally, I try to give them a little inspiration, but you're going to finish out today's episode. Give them something, look into the camera, tell them something that's going to make their day better, and we're going to wrap it up.
Listen, the one thing you got to do in life is just push. Push yourself to limits. Set your limits for you. Don't set your limits for anybody else. Take your little small tasks, take care of them week by week, day by day. If you believe in yourself and you don't believe in anything around you, believe in yourself first, because then you're able to help the next person out. Do not help somebody else out unless you can help yourself out. Here's a prime example since we're in the gym. You see somebody putting up 225 or better, and you know you can't put that up, do not be their spot. You got to make sure you get other people to come around you, build a team to be there to help with that spot. The thing is about team building. It's about loving one another. And we have a saying in football that I learned from the great Coach Toll, Don Bosco Prep, and Coach Rangy sings it around too, is, they always say coaches love coaches, players love players, coaches love players, players love coaches. And that's a formula. And if you did it like that, like saying people love people, I think we could be okay. And that's what it takes. It takes love and respect. But you know what, something? My last one. It's easy to tell somebody, I love you. And when it comes to Will, I'm going to give him the harder one. I respect you. And respect is everything. Love is respect is everything. Thank you, Will, for having me.
That's it for another episode of the SignatureCAST, where we talk bodybuilding, business, and everything in between. We'll see you later. Have a wonderful evening. Peace.
Peace.